I have walked beneath stars while the mountains were still young, and tonight, friends, you shall join my party as I lead you through the land of Gondor, the greatest kingdom of men in Middle-earth, forged in centuries of shadow and glory. Hearken to me now, for these stones speak only to those with the wisdom to listen. The journey will be long and arduous, but stay close, and we shall gaze upon the ancient glories of Gondor together. This is the land of the South Kingdom, proud and waning, where the shadows fell longest, and the light yet dared to endure. Allow me to lead you, as I once walked alone, from Gondor's far northern reaches to her southern shores. Let the embers of our fire mark each camp as a waypoint of wonder. Onwards now, friends, and let us together enter the realm of Gondor. We begin here, in the crooked ridges of the Emyn Muil, which rise like the shattered ribs of a darker world. To the north of here lies the plateau of Gorgoroth and the grim borders of Mordor, and it'd be wise to assume that few wanderers come here willingly. While this land was never truly Gondor's, it marked their furthest reach. In the days of Isildur and Anarion, watchposts were carved into these cliffs, crude and rarely manned, for the enemy, even then, was not forgotten. Here we make our first camp, upon a flat shelf overlooking the Nindalf, or Wetwang. You can see the marshes, spreading like a silver wound below. The Entwash ends its long journey here, mingling with the Anduin. In the War of the Ring, dark things crept through those waters, creatures that hunted by night. So do not wander after moonrise. The hills here are old and uncertain. Now we shall follow the Anduin south to Rauros, the Golden Falls, the sound of which is like a thunder without end. Long have I loved this place, not for its sound, but for its beauty, for all things are laid bare beneath that roar. Here stood Path Galen, a green lawn above the river. The fellowship broke upon this grass. Boromir, son of Denethor, fell nearby, pierced by orc arrows as he defended the halflings, Merry and Pippin. Brave he was, but prideful. Thankfully, his noble death and sacrifice redeemed his wrongdoings. We climb now to the western slopes, to the silent trees above the falls. There, hidden among moss-covered stones, lie 3 small boats, the burial of Boromir. Aragorn, Legolas, and Gimli set him adrift upon the Anduin, sword upon chest, and horn half-cloven. Tonight at camp we shall honor his memory and sing of his end till the stars give way to the dawn. Above Path Galen rises Amon Hen, the hill of the seat of seeing. Once, kings sat here to gaze across their land. But now the seat remains, worn and overgrown, but still potent. I have climbed it before, during the early years of the Watch. Even now, when I place my hand upon the stone, I feel whispers, distant voices, memories, and shadows of ancient power. It was here that Frodo Baggins wrestled with the ring's will. It spoke to him with the voice of Sauron, and here he made his fateful decision to part from his companions and go forth to Mordor alone. Here, in stillness and terror, the course of the war shifted. We will not camp at the summit, for dark dreams of ancient memories stir on the old hill. Instead, we shall descend and rest among the beeches below, where the roots of the trees embrace and protect those that linger beneath their shade. Let us cross the river now, by a hidden ford only the rangers know. On the eastern shore lies North Ithilien, a land of fragrance and light even under the shadow. It was called the Garden of Gondor, and though Sauron's reach has withered over the years, it has begun to bloom once more. The olive groves rustle with wind. King's Foil, or Athelas, grows wild here. You can smell it, can you not? A clean, sharp scent, healing and true. Faramir once led his rangers through these woods, in a hidden cave called Henneth Annwn, the window of the sunset. The halflings walked here into peril and wonder alike. There they saw oliphants, great beasts of Harad, and rested beneath Henneth Annwn with Faramir, who would later be made Prince of Ithilien following the crowning of King Elessar. Unlike his brother, Faramir resisted the ring. I had met him once, long ago, before the war. A man of quiet wisdom, more akin to an elf than most of his kind. Tonight, we sleep in the cleft behind the waterfall as the stars gleam through the mist. This is a place of peace, hard-earned by all who fought to defend it. Today our path south leads us into the ruins of Osgiliath, the ancient capital of Gondor. Once, this was the beating heart of the realm, full of life and a beauty that even we elves could be envious of. There by the center, the Dome of Stars crowned the city, a great tower of crystal and marble that once housed a palantir, and where the kings held council under the gaze of Elbereth. Now, however, it is a city shattered and scarred by ages of conflict and ruin. Broken arches rise from the water like the ribs of a sunken beast, and the constant pressing advances of Mordor's wrath has defiled both stone and memory. Yet even now, in the ruins of its former glory, Osgiliath commands respect. During the war, it became the line of defense. Sauron's forces surged from the east, crossing the ruined bridges and swarming the knights of Gondor. Boromir fought here, as did Faramir. Many were lost, but even when broken, the city did not fall entirely. The Anduin flows strong and proud still, even if its banks lie in shadow. Let us now make camp here beneath a fallen archway. Tonight I will tell you of Isildur's sons and the glory that once dwelt here. Ah, there she stands, Minas Tirith, the White City. 7 levels carved into the mountain's flank, crowned by the Tower of Ithilien. In daylight, the city gleams like pearl and alabaster, and by night, she watches all with lantern eyes. It was here that the flame of the West nearly died, for the city was besieged by the armies of Mordor, and the Pelennor fields ran red with blood. I myself stood upon those fields and fought at the behest of Aragorn and the sons of Elrond. I lent what aid I could, and even saw Éowyn slay the Witch King with the help of Merry the Halfling. Within the city walls themselves, the White Tree had long stood barren, but when Aragorn Elessar returned, the sapling of Nimloth was found high upon the slopes of Mindolluin, and under King Elessar, Minas Tirith was restored and made more beautiful than ever before. The Great Gate was reforged of mithril and steel by the dwarves of the Glittering Caves, and being led by Gimli, the streets were paved with white marble, and the city was filled with trees and fountains. Tonight, we shall stay in the marble halls of noble lords, and recite the deeds of Western heroes during the Age of the Ring. Take comfort here, friends, for the blossoms are white as stars, and their fragrance carries memories of joy and peace. This is the Gondor we fought to restore. Leaving the city, we ride now into Lossarnach, rich in gardens and orchards. It was from here that many healers and shield maidens marched to war, their resolve no less than that of the men of Gondor. The region lies just south of Minas Tirith, nestled in the shelter of the Ered Nimraes, the White Mountains. The name means flower vale in Sindarin, and it is no mere poetic flourish. The land is rich in blooms, Melilot, Eglanten, Ulfarin, and many others known only to the lore of elves and apothecaries. The folk of Lossarnach are known for their sturdiness and quiet resolve. During the War of the Ring, they were among the first to answer the call to defend Minas Tirith. Though many were too old or young for true battle, they came bearing axes and farming tools and hearts unshaken. Beyond lies Lebennin, the land of 5 rivers. These valleys are gentle, filled with bird song and laughter. The people here are hardy and merry, their music as sweet as the birds in the boughs. We camp tonight on the banks of the Selos, where elven kind once tarried in the Second Age. Some say their boats still glide the waters in moonlight at a place where the rivers Gilrain and Cerny sing to one another as they meet. Lebennin's men, though farmers and boatwrights, were not spared the burdens of war. They rallied to the banner of the White Tree during the War of the Ring, and marched to the Pelennor fields, where they fought beside the men of Lamadun and the southern fiefs under Aragorn, come from the paths of the dead. Moving on now, we come to Pelargir, Gondor's great port on the Anduin. Built by the faithful of Númenor, it is older than Osgiliath and full of sweet memories of glories long past. Ships still come and go daily, trading vessels, war galleys, and royal barges fit for Gondorian nobles. Pelargir's name means Garth of Royal Ships in Sindarin, a fitting title, for it was once the proudest harbour of the South Kingdom. From here, fleets set forth to Umbar and beyond, bearing soldiers, diplomats, and merchants of the Dunedain. The navy of Gondor, in its might, had its heart here, its ships fast and tall, and its captains proud and stoic at the stern. It was here that Aragorn, with the sons of Elrond, called forth the army of the dead upon the enemies of the west. For the corsairs of Umbar had sought to strike Gondor from the south, but the dead came, bound by an ancient oath, and they swept through the city like a winter gale under Aragorn's guidance. Now Pelargir is free of ruin and stands proud once more. Its folk are noble and steadfast, and are more akin to the waters than their counterparts to the north. Even we of the Eldar once loved the sea. And though our ships now sail west and bear no return, we remember what it means to be bound to wind and water. Pelargir knows that truth more than any other city in Gondor. Now peace reigns, but the wind here still carries whispers. The smell of salt is in the air and the night gathers. So let us together make our camp outside the city, where the river widens toward the sea. Ah, Dol Amroth. There are few places left in this world that awaken such peace in my heart. When first I beheld it, white towers rising like swan feathers against the sea cliffs, gulls crying above the harbour, and banners snapping in the salt wind, I thought, here lies a piece of a man, carved into the edges of Middle-earth. Even the stars shine more gently here, as though remembering elven footsteps from times long past. We have travelled far, you and I, down Gondor's spine to this southern jewel. So come now, and let us sit upon these wind-polished stones of the bluff above the city. Here the sea spreads before us like a living map, and behind us lie the vales of Belfalas, green and rich with life. This is a land hollowed and noble, a cradle for the blood of old Númenor and the rising hopes of the West. Lucky are we to gaze upon its glory under kinder times. Now listen well, and let me tell you what I know. Dol Amroth stands upon a great promontory, a hill of solid stone that juts out into the bay of Belfalas like the prow of a ship, forever gazing into the dreamy west. The city itself is tiered and fortified, though not as massive as Minas Tirith. The houses are whitewashed stone, with narrow streets winding upward to the castle of the princes of Dol Amroth, which crowns the height like a silver helm, whilst below are gardens and colonnades, where sea lavender and pale irises bloom under the gentle sun. To the east, gentle vineyards stretch into the hinterlands, and inland lie the folk villages and coastal manors of Belfalas, Gondor's southernmost fief. The people here are sturdy, bronzed by the sun, and steadfast against the sea wind. Prince Imrahil rules here at Dol Amroth, and his noble blood carries a glimmer of elven light. It has been said that an elf maid of Lorien wed one of his forebears, and I do not dare to doubt it. For the grace of this place is unmistakable, and gleams with a familiar sense of comfort to an Eldar like myself. Tonight, friends, we shall make our final camp upon the beach beneath the bluff. The sand is white and warm underfoot, and far out upon the waters, you may chance to see the lights of fishing boats swaying like stars caught upon the sea. Look out and remember all that I have said, for thus ends our passage through Gondor, a land of stone and sea, of battle and beauty, of kings remembered, and a people enduring against the tides. I have seen its glory in the high days of Elendel, and I have wept at its long fading. But now the realm is rising anew, under a king both wise and weary, and perhaps at last it shall be healed forevermore. Sleep now, friends, and let your dreams walk these roads again, from the high beacon fires of Anorion to the tides that whisper against the southern shores. Be sure to look westward in the days to come, to where the sea meets the sky. For that line, barely visible, is the edge of this world, and from these shores elves have departed never to return. And yet here I remain, for a time, to share my wisdom and tales with you. Let us now watch the tide roll in and sing no songs, for sometimes the lullabies of the sea is enough to take us to a home beyond wonder. Sleep now, my friend, and dream of the glories of blessed Gondor, for here in the sanctity of Dol Amroth you are safe. And in the morning, if your heart wills it, we shall make our return to Rivendell and walk again in many lands yet ahead.